So when you're doing the walk-around inspection on this type of aircraft, one of the things you want to check for sure is all of those core turbine blades. So making sure that the ends are all healthy, the leading edges, nothing's broken, missing, bent. I've seen one where the stator slammed shut right at about the time they lifted off the runway on takeoff. The ends of all those blades were melted off at all different lengths. Really ragged, like a worn the straw on a broom or something like that on the end of it. Pretty nasty. And then obviously you want to look around too. Thrust reverser, any of the actuators that go along with that, hinge points, just anything general. And then here you get a real good look at the bypass. Right here we're looking all the way up towards the very front of the engine. There's the main support that actually holds the core. Got a few different pipes that come out over there, and then the other support down here that also supports the core. But this right here in the middle, that's just a cone that helps the exhaust gases flow back together. These louvers right here actually help mix the very hot air, which is accelerated, and the colder bypass air. And these are what make the engine quiet, or definitely less noise than it would make without them. And this engine is good. And then of course you have the same thing looking at the leading edge. You want to look around for dents, bird evidence, feathers and blood, and maybe bones, who knows what. Because if you find any of that, these are all bugs, so no big deal there. But if you find any of that, you also want to look at this material that they have around here. And in particular, check out those blades. You want to look at tips, any place, leading edges, center cone, make sure all 4 bolts are still installed correctly. And basically you're just looking at anything that would be out of the ordinary. That blue material is actually designed to erode away a little bit if necessary, but it helps keep the tip clearances nice and close. I believe it's almost like a fiberglass or epoxy or something like that, but it looks sort of like foam, but it's obviously not that. And sometimes you even want to give it a spin. You hear the blades clacking around inside the hub because they're actually not a solid piece. They each have little almost think like an upside down Christmas tree in the base that holds them in, and they float around in that for temperature and noise and things like that. So this engine's good. And then of course another place you got to check is engine oil. In this case, engine oil is doing pretty good. We're just a little bit below full there, so it should be okay. We're not even close to 1 low. And we just also want to check around here inside, looking for leaks, spillage. Want to make sure this cap is on nice and tight, which it is, and we don't have any leaks. That is the oil filter right there, housing, and that's all good. There's the actual mounts that actually hold the engine on. Nothing sheared on them. That's always a good sign. And looking good. So another check you're going to do as an aircraft mechanic is, if you're working on jets, is tire wear. So you're going to need one of them, and then you'll go right in here. You want to make sure you're reading on the 30 seconds, I believe. Yep, 30 seconds. Go down 9. Yep, that'll be right at 9:30 seconds for number 4 tire. And then the other check you're going to do on the landing gear, besides looking for leaks and anything loose or broken, missing, is you're going to measure dimension of the wear pin right there. Looking like 1.2, which is excellent. I believe they can wear until they're actually flush. Then of course we got to go inside and check out hydraulic reservoirs, electrical, pneumatic, all kinds of interesting stuff. In particular, we're looking at accumulator pre-charge, hydraulic fluid level, which can be read through that window, and for whatever systems they have back here. Catch can, overflow, that's good. And other hydraulic reservoir readings we can get. That one's good. And we have another one over here. Amazing. There's the APU. Actually, is that? That might be the air cycle machine, actually. I think it is. Yeah, that's the air cycle. That's what does the air conditioning. Works like a turbocharger, compressing and expanding the air to give you hot or cold air as you want. And that quantity could be a little better, but there's another one. Filter bypass pins aren't popped. That's always a good thing. We got to find all of them that are back here and make sure there's no leaks, nothing broken, nothing hanging. Fire bottles, that's good. And breakers. Always want to check to make sure all of them are in back here. Just another part of a regular inspection on one of these jets. So if you're ever reading about an aircraft loss or crash type of incident and they're looking for the data or voice recorders, this is a voice recorder right here. It's modern design, digital, has ways to connect into it. But that unit right there on top is the pinger that they will use if it's underwater. It actually has, it's a sealed assembly. I've changed them before and I've tested them. And basically you put it on, it runs, and then you kind of take it off and I believe you throw it away. You might send it back, but I believe you throw it away. You cannot change the battery. And that every, I don't know, minute or two sends out a pulse, which if it's underwater can be picked up, like a ultrasonic or some sort of thing. You can't hear it with human hearing, but with a test set, you actually would touch the end of it and you'd hear it, and that's how you test it. But that right there, so-called black box, yeah, they're not, they're orange.